Well, with the game jam all done and with me making my very first game published and up on itch.io, I'm actually quite happy of the result that I've actually done so far with that particular game. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Planetary. I'm also known as Mitch, your fellow time-traveling gamer by night on Twitch, but also a solo game developer during the day. Now, for people who actually are wondering why they have been clicking on this video, and for people who actually have been watching the stream lately and actually seen what I have actually been doing throughout the past month, people will actually understand what I have actually been working on. But for people who have not seen my stream or haven't seen my dev stream, I'll happily explain what I've actually gone through. To actually put this quite simple, this is actually about a particular game dev journey that I have actually participated in for a good month, and that particular game dev journey and game jam was none other than the Aviator Game Jam, and it was something that I actually participated in from October 15th all the way up to November 15th. So 3 days ago, by the time you've been seeing this, or about a month or a week ago, who knows. So particularly, the game jam that I did was called the Aviator Game Jam, and it was actually based on arcade games. It was heavily arcade game based, and it required everything that it required everything that makes the arcade game an arcade game, meaning having a high score system, making it interesting, making it interesting, fun, having an arcade theme. It was all kind of interesting, especially with the high score system as well, being offline or online. It was actually quite an interesting feat to actually throw that into the game. So I saw this particular game jam. I thought to myself, well, I haven't actually participated in any game jam, and apart from last year, with it being the 7 days first person shooter, which was something that I did last year December, but never got around to finishing it. Especially with other game jams as well, I decided to skip on by, and also with me trying to learn how to code, learn how to use Godot a little bit more efficiently, I just thought to myself, why don't we actually give it another shot? Go into a game jam, give it another shot. Let's actually do this. Let's actually give it another go, because I want to give it another shot. I want to put my skills to the test. I want to see where I can actually improve myself a little bit more, and actually give it a proper shot. Especially with it being arcade theme, I thought to myself, okay, so I can actually go with pixel art. That would be even more simpler and more easier to do. Boy howdy was I wrong. But let's actually get right into the story of how this particular game, the Funky Dude Adventures Through Time, came about, and also yet the rise and fall of Pixel Punch-Out as well. So let's actually get right into it. Let's actually get right to the beginning of the story. So today was October 15th. And I decided to actually do daily streams, doing a stream throughout the whole month with me participating in the Aviator Game Jam. It was something that I actually wanted to do. Plus, it also helps me to actually learn a little bit more better of how to use how to make games more make it more fun, make it more interesting for the players, but also yet understanding how to use a particular game engine that I was going to use called Godot. But before I started jumping in the engine, I started to go through some brainstorming, because I was thinking of doing a platform shooter at first, but after I'd gone through several brainstorming and announcing that I was going live on the Aviator Game Jam's Discord community page, I managed to get some people to jump in, and we managed to hash it out. We managed to hash out the ideas, expand the idea of what game genre I should work on, which one will stick, which one will flop, and which one will definitely hit the bell and say, "Yep, we got it." So I went through several ideas thanks to Dilo, Magic Money, and Broski, who actually decided to join in the live stream and help me out with the particular game jam, and actually the idea and genres of what to do as well, which aspect. What's another good example? Which was actually quite interesting, to be honest. And after the amount of time that I've actually did with the ideas, the only thing that stuck out was the Rock'em Sock'em Robots, because it was a beat 'em up, it was a platformer, it was actually going to be a simple move left, right, and I was thinking of simplicity of it, of how simple it can be, but I didn't realize how difficult it can be for some certain functions, so simplicity went out the window. But I still gave it a shot, I still gave it a good shot. So the Rock'em Sock'em Robot project was something that I chose and everyone else have chose. They wanted to see me make it. I wanted to give it a shot because I find it more interesting. Like, I wanted to make a Rock'em Sock'em Robot, like actual Rock'em Sock'em Robot game, because it was actually quite interesting. But I had to do it in 2D because that is something I specialize in. I love pixel art. I love the fun of making it 32-bit, 16-bit. It was something that I actually enjoy and something that I want to specialize in and have more fun of doing it. So after we had the idea all sorted, I decided to jump on the Godot engine and do some I decided to jump on Sprite to do simple blocks. Simple blocks, as any person will do. Any game developer, either solo or team, they always start off with the simplest of things first, and that is making blocks first, to actually find how to make the character move left and right, or forward or back, or go or jump up or down. That's always the first thing that most game developers would do, and I think most of them will agree to that. So after doing that and actually getting all the basic functions with the left, right, the punch, and also the boundaries of the characters of each player's not going back and forth, not falling off, it was actually quite interesting. But when it came to making the actual characters, oh boy, that was definitely interesting. Now, due to the fact that I love my pixel art, I'm no expert of it just yet, because I have troubles with doing animations of walk cycles, punches, and all kinds of stuff. But the only way that I can actually make it more simpler and easy for me was to break them down into actual body parts. So I just did that. So I had the head, I had the body, I had the upper arms and the lower arms and the legs, the upper, lower, and also the feet, because I wanted to have actual ligaments of the robot. So whenever the robot punches, it's actually extending its ligament, giving that actual punch that any robot character would actually do. Instead of just going 1 2 1 2 1 2, it's an actual punch, and that's pretty much simple. And after slapping it in and giving every single pixel, every single part of the robot its own bones, oh god, that was a bit of a field day. Oh, that was painful. I decided to get into the animation of making each button to punch, and it worked. It was actually working. I got the character to move, I got the character to punch, but the process of making the AI was a nightmare. And mind you, I have studied Python and I studied GDScript, and even with the amount of knowledge that I gathered from that, I still don't know how to do it. I can actually visualize how it should function, but I can't actually pick it apart and actually put it in its own function, because I don't know how to write it out. I don't know how to actually make a simple coding and a simple line. So from looking from all this, you can tell I was having a little bit of trouble trying to actually do a little bit of coding. So with the AI having its own problems, I had to find another way to actually make a game with ease and without using any programming at all, because I don't get it. I cannot I can't do programming for the life of me. Even with the immense amount of studying, with learning Python and learning GDScript, it wouldn't stay in my mind and wouldn't stick to the brain. It was not that easy. It was really not that easy at all. And you know what? I have to learn when to accept it, that programming is not part of me. Well, the coding side of programming is not a part of me because I'm not an analytical thinker. I'm more of a creative thinker. I can actually visualize how it works, but I don't know how to actually program it to make it work. So that was something that was a bit of an issue, especially with the AI and the hit detection. That was a massive problem for me. I couldn't even get that out there. So with that being said, I had to actually drop the idea of making Pixel Punch-Out and actually had to look for another substitute of a different game engine that could actually benefit me to not worry about coding, but allow me to work on the creative side of things to make the game that happened to be the FDA through time. So after a few days of looking throughout different game engines and looking throughout my computer to see what particular game engine I have installed but haven't actually used at all, I looked through the game engine and I decided to see, and I saw GDevelop, and I thought to myself, why don't we give that another shot? We got it installed, why don't I give it another shot? And that's how it happened. GDevelop was my go-to engine and became a go-to engine to actually help me out to make the game that you guys see as of today, and also yet from the Aviator Game Jam as well. With it being like 2 weeks to spare, I had to actually think of another way to actually make another game, but even more, far more simpler and easy to put together with GDevelop, and which happened to be through time. It was a simple platformer shooter, and it was actually going to be based on my own persona, the time-traveling gamer Planetary. Because I've been wanting to make a game based on my persona, not me specifically, but my persona, with the grey suit, and also yet the fedora, because that's how I envision myself. That's how I envision the character as it should be in the game. So after that, I decided to do the exact same thing like I did with Pixel Punch-Out. After learning how to use GDevelop, and also yet it's easy to use scriptless coding. It was something that was so simple and so easy to use. It was actually that very easy to use. After when I've actually done several tutorials with GDevelop, it actually stuck to my brain. It was like, okay, so I can actually do this, grab that and drag it from here, add an if statement and do it then, and then whatever comes up to the next, that's it. It was something that was so crystal clear and so plain as day. But I will save that particular topic for another video, because I think that is a bit of a debate that would need to be its own separate video. But to continue on, after when I've managed to finish making the blocks using Piscal, part of the GDevelop, and actually making sure that it was moving correctly, jumping out the correct heights, managed to fall down, I didn't have to worry about anything. I had to not worry about the jump. Only I need to do was change the numbers, the acceleration, the deceleration, the gravity, the jump force. Everything was so simple and so easy to go through because of its extension features that actually made it so easy for me. And when I saw how it's all done and used, I managed to get everything done within 2 weeks, and managed to get all the characters that I wanted to make, especially the updated character that I did for Planetary with the grey suit and the fedora, apart from the alpha build that I did before. Oof. God, that actually takes me back. And also yet his time blaster, and using the firing bullets as well, using the combination of extensions of the platformer and the firing bullet, it became easy. It became easy to put together. It's like building blocks. It's like Legos. It became so easy to put them together and then done. It was that simple, and I loved it. it takes the stress away from me from doing the coding, but it makes me focus on what I needed to do, which was the actual pixel art. And that was the fun part about it. It takes away the stress, but it gives you enough time to do what you wanted to do, which was pixel art, and I'm happy for that. And especially with tile mapping, that was something I had to learn entirely different, because even then learned Godot Game Maker Studio, and also yet all the other game engines, Unity, Unreal, and also yet Construct 3 and Stencil have their own tile mapping features, allowing you to draw your own tile maps. GDevelop has to use a different way to actually get tile mapping in there, which was I had to use use a program called Tiled, T-I-L-E-D, or happily throw the logo up there. That was something that I had to use entirely different. It was something so different that I had to do, and after when I managed to put the tile mapping together, I can actually throw it into GDevelop with ease, and it took me about a good day or so to actually understand how to use it entirely, and I had to use tutorials to actually understand how to use that properly. But after that, it became a walk in park to actually make my own tile mapping, put it onto GDevelop, and actually use a instant of grounds to actually lay it all out and make it work properly. And it was something interesting. It was so fun. Putting the grounds as actual ground, using the red squares as a jump up feet, like a jump through platform. It was so amazing. It was so fun. I feel like it was such a great relief and so easy to do, and it became so easy that I managed to make 3 levels, managed to get the scoring system, the timer, and the health bar as well. But I had to have a little bit of help with the people from GDevelop community on Discord, and also at the Aviator Game Jam community on Discord as well, because there was some things that I was actually stuck with the scoring system, the health bar. The health bar I had to search it up on tutorial, and also the timer I had to get some help from other people from the community. And without their help, I wouldn't have actually made a high school game where you're playing as Planetary, the time-traveling gamer who has to race against the clock. You died so many times, you'd be losing 10 seconds other than just game overing. You'll be racing against the clock and trying to get there. And that was the fun part. I loved it. And by the time I got everything done with making my own main menu, my own fonts, and my own tutorials, enemies, score pickups, and health pickups as well, I managed to get everything done, and at the end result, it actually looks pretty good. And without a shadow of a doubt, if I haven't actually done this, I wouldn't actually have got that game done. And I actually feel happy. I feel happy that I've managed to make my first game after 20 attempts of half-baked ideas and non-attempts on the games that I wanted to make. This is my 21st attempt, and I managed to get one done. Done, as in completely done. I don't want to touch it again, but it's something that I can look back and understand how to improve from there, to make it more better, to make it more interesting, and to make it more better in its sequel or its official game. The Time Traveler's Journey will be something that I want to make in the process. But instead of me doing it in 1 month, I think the Time Traveler's Journey is something that I want to take my time with to make sure that I can hash out the story, to make it even more fun, interesting as well, but also yet giving its own bosses, its own enemies, and also yet everything else to make through Time Traveler's Journey more interesting. But it also gives me more ideas with 2 other people that I wanted to do for the Funky Dude Adventures, giving them their own story as well, but that can wait another time. But with that being said, with the Aviator Game Jam all done, and with my game published up on itch.io, free to play, and fun to get around, I actually feel happy that people can now experience the amount of time and effort that I had to actually go through throughout 2 weeks of 1 month to make through time, but also at the other 2 weeks when I attempted but failed, and understand where I failed and decide to mitigate the problem to get even more better result with Pixel Punch Out and using Godot. With that being said, I actually feel happy, and I feel like I'm ready to take on the next game jam that is coming up next month. And this particular game jam is something that I'm going to revisit because I've explained it earlier. It's the 7 days FPS. The 7 days first person shooter is something that I'm taking on again, but this time by myself and using GDevelop and its extension called the 3Js, being a 3D extension, allow me to actually make the first person shooter or 3D platformers that I wanted to make. And it will become something so simple that I can actually understand and learn from using one particular tutorial from the person who made that extension to actually understand how to use it more efficiently and how to do it more properly. Because by the time I hit that game jam, the 7 days first person shooters, I'll be using GDevelop and that extension to make that game possible. And of course, I'll be doing this based on my lovely dog, Bailey. For people who haven't seen the post up on Instagram, you will actually see a dog with a fedora and a grey suit and red shirt. That is my dog Bailey. Bailey is a lovable teddy bear, and I thought to make him as a game character. Like, what would he look like if he was an actual game character? And that's how I actually designed him as it is. And the initial idea for the game is him being being a detective, a freelance detective, taking on the case of the house animals going crazy, with using his trusty weapons to actually tranquilize and actually revert them back to normal, with his pistol, his shotgun, and also yet his trusty Tommy gun. So this is going to be set based on the 1950s with the pistol, the shotgun, and also yet the Tommy gun. And don't get me wrong, it's not going to be gory. It's going to be family friendly. It is going to be a very friendly and family and friendly game with a little bit of violence, but not too much. And that's the initial idea for that particular game. But I won't spoil any more. That is something that you have to see when I start streaming for the 7 days first person shooter and getting it sorted. So that will be fun. That will be interesting. That will be an interesting way of doing it as well. But with that being said, I wouldn't have done this without any of you guys' help. But also yet the viewers who actually saw my stream, and also yet the people from GDevelop, and also yet the Aviator Game Jam community as well. I wouldn't have gone this far without you guys, and I'd like to say thank you so much for the help. It really is that awesome. But I'll make sure I put a link in the description down below for Funky Dude's Adventures Through Time, so you can give that a go, have fun, and actually, I'm happy with feedbacks. I'm happy with feedbacks of any of the sorts. At least it gives me an idea to actually how to improve on the next game that I want to make after Through Time, and after the 7 days first person shooters as well. But thank you. If you haven't actually seen the stream and you actually want to see the full stream VOD, I'll happily put that in the description down below as well, so you can actually see it, so you can actually experience the amount of time, effort, and also yet the stuff-uppery of me using, trying to understand how to do it, but also yet the other things as well. But feel free to subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to me on YouTube as well, because I will be making another video somewhere along the line to actually explain the difference between coding and also yet scriptless coding, and to actually understand which one is more beneficial. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around for the live stream, and thank you for watching the dev stream, the dev vlog as well. Hopefully you guys will have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and also yet a wonderful week as well. Until then, This is your fellow time traveling gamer signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Ta-ta!